Minister Alan Kelly and his intention to take water charges from people's wages, pensions and social welfare payments. You also disclosed that Minister Kelly has yet to put a proposal to the Cabinet, and you have refused to outline the legal basis for the process which you wholeheartedly support. Now, that would seem strange to most people, Taoiseach, but in Enderland, the absurd presents itself as a form of government. And in Enderland, we hear this morning that water charge bills will be issued by Irish Water to citizens who are not customers of Irish Water. In Enderland, bills will also be issued to households which have undrinkable water, including those who have to boil their water. And in Enderland, 150,000 properties with a private well and a septic tank will also be billed by Irish Water. So all these citizens will receive bills for a service they do not receive, and you fully support a process to deduct these bills from their wages, pensions or social welfare payments. It's surely, Taoiseach, you would agree, worthy of Flann O'Brien at his best. And it would be laughable, but it's causing huge confusion and further anger. But why should this indeed concern you or the hecklers in your back benches? It's not your money. The taxpayers will also foot the bill for the bills that you are sending them for the service that they won't receive. And in Enderland, you actually paid €85 million in taxpayers' money to private consultants to advise you on all this.
Thank you.
So, Taoiseach, how on earth are citizens to have any faith in your water charge policy or indeed in your government when those you have entrusted with running our water services cannot even get the basics right?
Thank you. Taoiseach.
And in Jerryland, the record shows that you agreed that you should pay for water until you heard the sound of marching feet and said, this is populism, so I'm going to take a different route. Sorry. Yeah. I think it's about... I'm sure you read the reports yourself of water being contaminated with leachate in respect of diesel laundering in various parts of the country. It's of interest to you, I'm sure. Now, I would say to you, Deputy Adams, you're the president of your party, you're the leader of your party. It's about time that people faced up to the reality here that water has to be paid for. Every deputy here, in fact, should go and see what happens in a water treatment plant with the cost of producing quality water for consumers, for business and for people alike. And it seems to be fine for some people to say, we're all paying for this. So you're happy to leave a situation where people have had to boil water notices for years, where they have inferior and inadequate sewerage facilities in their towns and villages, and where they're condemned to having an inadequate infrastructure. It's time now, Deputy Adams, that we face the reality. This government have listened very carefully to the great numbers of people who express their concerns and their anxieties. And the charge here for water is €1.15 per week, or €3 if there are more than two or more adults in the house. And by any scale, these are very modest contributions to make for the quality of water. Now, your party seems to assume that what you want to do is have a system where you can increase income tax, where you can bring in a whole raft of new charges, commercial rates, land tax, corporation tax and everything else to pay for some utopian land that you seem to live in. It's not Enderland or Jerryland, it's fantasy land from your point of view. The people of this country have faced very difficult choices in the last number of years. We're now emerging from a recession. I note reports that say that Ireland's a leading economy in a European sense. Our challenge is to manage this very carefully for the generation coming behind us. Nobody believes, Deputy Adams, that you shouldn't make a contribution for water. When you turn on the tap, whether in Donegal or in Louth or Clontarf or Kerry or Waterford or anywhere else, somebody's got to make a contribution and pay for what comes out of that tap. And I'm not happy with the situation where thousands of people are connected to lead pipes and drinking water from that, where thousands of people have an inferior quality water system, where thousands of people have to say with their sense of pride that there are no sewage facilities in their town or village. We've got to deal with that reality, Deputy Adams, and I support Minister Kelly in what he's trying to do here, to provide a proper system of clean, high-quality water for consumer, for business and for people all over the country. And when the Minister brings his recommendations to Cabinet, we will consider them and deal with them in the interests of our country.
Deputy.
OK, Taoiseach, you have paid €540 million for meters, but only 50 million for the leaking pipes that you decry so much. And you refuse to answer my question, Taoiseach, once again. Now, isn't it ironic that it's a Labour Party minister, the minister for making it up as he goes along, who's responsible for this mess? Because in opposition, the Labour Party firmly ruled out the introduction of water charges. But it's since emerged that Labour was planning since 2010 to introduce water charges. And this memo, an internal Labour Party memo prepared for the then Labour leader Eamon Gilmore and the Deputy Leader Joan Burton, who's now your Taoiseach, clearly outlines plans for the introduction of water charges and the installation of water meters. So now we know where Labour has stood on this issue all along, despite what they told the electorate. Now, yesterday, Taoiseach, I asked you, have you spoken to your old pal? Remember Phil Hogan? I asked you, had you spoken to him about the unminute and unrecorded meetings between him and the chairwoman of Board Gaish about setting up Irish Water, and you refused to answer that question or to authorise an Oireachtas inquiry into this serious matter. Tommy Cricknahan, John Collier. But given the latest revelations about this billing debacle, is it not time that you acknowledge that you and the Labour Party have no mandate, and indeed there's no sense in what you're doing on water charges? So could I ask you once again, Taoiseach, to scrap these charges, or failing that, would you please get an exit visa from End the Land and call a general election on this issue?
Sorry, it's normal practice that we address... Excuse me, hold on a minute. Deputy Durkin, would you ever stay quiet for a minute? Taoiseach. It's normal practice that we address deputies as deputy, minister as minister, and Taoiseach as Taoiseach. I don't want this creeping into the practice in here of anybody's land. Thanks very much. Taoiseach, thank you.
Thank you for your direction, Cancórla. Yes, I spoke to Commissioner Hogan about his announcement in respect of a 200 million allocation for rural Ireland and for trainee schemes for young people to participate more fully in the building up of our country. I'm sure that you have it within yourself to welcome that kind of announcement also. The answer to your question, Deputy Adams, is that I do not intend to call a general election until it's appropriate to do so. The second point, Deputy Adams, is that this government was given a mandate by the people to fix our public finances, to put our country back to work.
Sorry, would you stay quiet? Thanks.
And I hope that when you're at your meetings, around the country, that in answer to the questions that you will be asked by your own supporters, when they say, Mr. President, how do you propose to pay for all these facilities?
Thank you.
That you will say you intend to increase their income taxes, you intend to increase their commercial rates, you intend to talk to Deputy Murphy about financial transaction taxes, about corporation taxes, about wealth taxes, and about everything except providing the service that the people are entitled to.
Thank you.
So that's what we're going to do, and fulfil our mandate as given to us by the people, and in due course they'll be able to answer the questions as to whether we sorted out the public finances or not, and whether we put the people back to work or not.
Thank you. Deputy Murphy, thank you. Deputy Murphy.